Hello students and welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this session, we will be looking at the Railway Amendment Bill of 2024. Now, what is the news? Simple. Lok Sabha has passed the Railway Amendment Bill for 2024. Now, there has been a lot of hue and cry with respect to this bill from the opposition. So we look at what apprehension possibly can be there, or the consequences, or the latent function which may not be explicitly visible presently but can happen, based on which there was some opposition as well. At the same time, majorly we are going to look at why was there a need to bring in this amendment, what changes will it bring, and what impact those changes will have in the railway field. So let us get started. The first things first, what is this particular amendment bill? So it seeks to repeal the 1905 Act, and it repeals the 1905 Act, but some of the provisions in the same manner or a modified manner will be retained, and it will be integrated with the 1989 Act. So 1905 Act will be completely repealed, and the provisions, some of them in the same original version, but majority of them in the modified version, in the modified way, will be integrated into the 1989 Act. Now, why this major change, or what kind of changes can we expect? These changes are with respect to enhancing the autonomy and the efficiency of the railways. These two things. Now, these two things are the objective that is stated by the government who has brought in this bill. So in your answers also, when you're writing, make sure you mention these phrases: enhancing the autonomy and efficiency of the railway. We will see how they are trying to improve the efficiency as well as enhance the autonomy. So with respect to the provision of the bills, let us start understanding these two particular things. Number one is the constitution of the body, which will be known as the Railway Board. Now, why to have a railway board? Remember the Banks Board Bureau? The Banks Board Bureau, it is similar to that. Of course, completely different sector. Banking is a services sector. We are talking about the railways, but sort of the requirement or the functioning would be similar. What does the board do? The board has an oversight with respect to the entire thing that is happening in that particular system or field or domain. So health of the banks were not good. That is why Banks Board Bureau came in, so as to identify the top chairpersons, CEOs, the top management of different banks in India, that will improve the decision making. Similar is the case, probably with more responsibilities, of the Railway Board. So the first thing that it will do is it will constitute a body that will be named as the Railway Board. Now, how many people it will have, how will they be selected, elected, nominated, etc., etc., everything will be prescribed in the guidelines and the rules that will be followed, and it will be the central government, of course, who will be making this decision. Railway, remember, it is a monopoly of the government of India. Okay, so the central government will be prescribing. What will they prescribe? The number of members of the board, the qualification of the members of the board, the experience that they will hold, from which field, and how they would be chosen to become the members of this particular board, plus the terms and conditions of their service, or the employment, or the time for which they will be holding that position. That is also very important. Similar kind of thing we can see, that their service conditions cannot be changed during their term period. Of course, that is required for the independence of the board members, right? So this is the first thing, including, of course, the chairman. So chairperson should be the better word, chairperson, as well as the members of the board. Now, this particular board will act as the apex decision making body. What do you mean by apex? Apex means the topmost. It will be the topmost decision making body for the Indian Railways. So decision as in decision of selection of people at the strategic places, decision of a certain things, initiatives, new things that are required, some changes that are required with respect to the governing, the management, etc., would be made by this board, Railway Board. It's like the board of directors of any private company which is there. Similarly, it will act as a board for the railways. So this is going to improve the efficiency. I hope that's clear. Now let's look at with respect to the autonomy. So this bill also proposes to enhance the autonomy of the zones, the railway zones. Now, when you improve the autonomy of the railway zones, remember autonomy will be increased, plus this increased autonomy can lead to increased efficiency as well. Why? Because the entire Indian railway is divided into total 19 zones. Right? If now you have a centralized authority or an oversight on them, it is good that it will be there. But at the same time, each of these 19 zones will be given more individual autonomy as well, so as to take decisions on their own, to spend money, more amount of money on their own without the approval with the higher ups. So what will happen? These zones individually will know that in that particular region, what is the need of the hour. You cannot have a blanket kind of a provision coming for all the 19 zones, because the requirement of the 19 zones will be different, will be varied. That is why autonomy to these 19 zones becomes very important. And what are these 19 zones? It's mentioned here. You have zones like Northern Railway, Northern Central Railway, Northern Eastern Railway, Western Railway, Western Central Railway. Like this, you have entirety of total 19 zones. So we have Northern Railway, Northern Central, Northern Eastern, Northeast Frontier, Northeast Frontier, Northeast Frontier Railway, Northwestern Railway, so on and so forth. Like this, total 19 zones are present. If you look at the last two zones, which is of special importance, or in fact the last zone is Metro Railway Kolkata. Now you have not seen Metro Railway zone anywhere else, but in the Kolkata region you are seeing. Why is that the case? That is because Kolkata Metro is one of the oldest metro in India, and the entire project sort of majorly was executed by the government. Now you have the private players, the PPP models, private players doing that project. Now this was one of the oldest metro, so there is a zone with respect to the Metro Railway of Kolkata as well. Remember that, especially for your prelims examination. Now this is the important thing. Others are also important, but why this is more important is, this is, of course, we'll see what the provision is, what impact it will have, but at the same time, this is the place where there are certain issues that are being raised. So let's dive into this provision. There is a provision for coming up with an independent regulator. Now, what is this independent regulator going to do? This independent regulator is going to take care of the safety and security decisions with respect to that. Accidents are a severe issue in the railways. However, they have considerably gone down, but we have to ensure that we move towards and subsequently achieve zero accidents and zero fatalities. If we could do that, nothing could be better than that, right? That is the idea. So for that, you want to have an independent regulator who takes care of the safety and the involvement of the private sector participation. Okay, safety is fine. It is the most important thing. So yes, but the issue that the opposition is having with respect to the independent regulator and its provision is with respect to the private sector participation and the tariffs. So what does this bill say? This bill says that we will have an independent regulator which will decide what should be the tariffs and how much and where should be the participation of the private sector. So what is the issue here? The issue here is the tariffs. First, let's discuss the tariffs. So tariffs of railways are when a decision of with respect to tariffs of the railways are made, these are very political decisions. Why these are political decisions? Because it can impact the entire political electoral scenario in a country. You will hardly find that the tariffs of the railways have increased when the elections, say Lok Sabha elections are approaching. You will not find that. It will happen either immediately after the elections or somewhere in between. Why? Because that can change the mood of the entire nation. Almost everyone uses railways. Huge amount of population uses railways. So if you increase the tariff, if you increase the ticket price, that is going to catch the eye of majority of Indians, and that will not be a good electoral publicity for the government in power. So not, changing the tariff or increasing the tariff is a very bad decision with respect to the electoral campaigns, right? But it has to be done. It has to be done because at times the losses would be too much, so maybe then it has to be done. Now what the government is doing here is, the government is bringing an independent regulator. Now it is the independent regulator that will be saying that the tariffs are increasing. So sort of the government, the present government, is detaching itself from the decisions with respect to increase in the tariffs. So then the government can say that we have not increased it, it is the independent regulator who has done it. So the tariffs may also increase, plus no responsibility or accountability of the government as such, because this will be an independent regulator. So that is one concern the opposition is having. The second concern is decisions with respect to the private sector participation. How much can the private sector be involved in? What fields the private sector can be involved? Right now in railways, private sector is involved with respect to the vendors that are there, provision of the internet, the food, this, that, all those things. With respect to the operation, the tracks and stuff, the systems, the electric systems, all those systems, the private sector gets small contracts, but the entire operation and everything is controlled by the central government. It's a monopoly of the central government. And there have been voices which talked about privatizing the railways. So the opposition is thinking or criticizing that this is a step towards privatization of the railway. However, the government has maintained that no, it is not. It is with respect to the private sector which is already involved, and to make it function efficiently. So you should know both sides of the coin. Okay. One thing that does not change is the current organizational structure. Organizational structure as in, what is the hierarchy, who reports to whom, the entire organizational structure remains the same. Now, if these implementation, when these implementations are executed, what are the potential impact? The functioning and independence of railway will be, of course, enhanced. Why the functioning will be enhanced? You have a railway board, independence will be enhanced, you are giving more autonomy to the different zones, independent regulator is there, and because you are giving more autonomy to the zones, that will lead to decentralization and empowerment of these particular zones. So of course these are the impact. Plus independent regulator can also promote transparency and accountability. Why transparency? Because the government may have some biasness in not increasing the tariff because elections are coming. Now the other side is that only, the government may want to not increase the tariff even though there is a need of the hour to do that because of the elections or XYZ reason, because they want the public support. But the independent regulator would be transparent, would be accountable, would be responsible, and you will also have a body to hold accountable for and get the work done. The government can get this done. Now, this will of course pave the way for increased private sector participation. So this was anyhow the apprehension. This is at times a positive side as well or a critical side as well, because see, we would not want a situation, many critics argue that we would not want a situation that the railways is completely privatized or majorly privatized, so that the operations and everything is done by the private sector. Then what will happen? The tickets cost will increase. That is the most likely outcome. And the last person standing in the queue might be left out. That is why government involvement is necessary. We complain that railways are making losses. Now why? Because the tickets are actually quite less, right? So it is at a subsidized rate. Maybe air conditioned third AC, second AC, first AC might be higher, but sleeper, general class and all those coaches are quite cheap. But there has been recent increases in the ticket prices. So maybe we cannot say that anymore. But these were the reasons. The low ticket fare was one of the reasons why railway used to make profit, because it was completely government owned. The primary motive of government is not to make profit, except for the National Infrastructure Investment Fund, which the government had brought in few years back. That fund is specifically for profit, but the rest of the things the government does is not for profit as such. It is to ensure that the sector does well, that the economy grows, etc., etc. right? So this is the case, but with the independent regulator taking decision based on the private sector involvement, it can help in increase private sector participation as well. So these are the positives, these are the provision of this bill. You can expect mains question of course very easily, and also prelims related things can also be asked, but majorly for mains, please go through this lecture, make your own notes to be able to answer with respect to critical analysis of privatization of the railways or not. All right, thank you so much guys. Stay tuned to Legacy IAS Academy channel for more such informative bits. Thank you.